get ready for my origin story. So it all started out with my parents here. They're refugees from Vietnam, came over to Sydney, Australia, and I was one of 4 kids here, right? Born in Australia, and you know, I was just taught to go into school, do good, study hard, get a good job, and that's basically what I did, right? You throw into some computer games in there where I actually was pushing pretty close to trying to be a professional Counter-Strike player here in Australia. Didn't make it, but that's okay. And so I ended up going through university here, right? And then graduated from the system and followed like everyone else. And because I studied business and finance, I ended up getting a role in KPMG in Sydney in the management consulting team. And I thought that was my pathway. I'm set now. My parents are super happy, right? Then I started getting into property like they wanted me to. And then I'm like, that's my path. It's all set. I'll be sweet. But I realized soon when I started there, it's like, hey, I got these things in order, but why am I not happy? Something's up here. And I realized I wasn't being fulfilled. I wasn't making an impact with my work in the time that I'm spending in the work there. And so I went searching for more, for what I could do, right? And so that's how I kind of went down this rabbit hole of personal development really early on. And I started learning from all of the like success resources stuff that was out there. It's like Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, right? And I went to all their seminars and bought all their programs. And what I realized was they said I had to go give back. I had to share my experience. And so I very early on, I started up a side hustle, right? In being a love coach, and then turned into a men's coach, right? And then I ended up running a podcast show, trying to interview people. And what I realized was I was buying into someone else's dream, right? I was buying into someone else's dream of, this should be like this. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with Dan Priestley that, I was trying to chase this whole idea of like, I gotta be an entrepreneur. And he told me the best entrepreneurs are the ones that are controlling the spotlight, not the ones chasing the spotlight or in the spotlight. And that's when it shifted in my head, like, that's what I need to be doing here, right? And so I made that shift. I went over to Singapore. I tried to make it as a face on the stage, but I realized I'm actually better as the spotlight here, right? And that's when I realized I'm better as an operator. And so people started coming to me, asking me, how do I build the systems? How do I build automation so that I could free them from their business here? I started opened up an online marketing agency with my friends, right, in Singapore, so that I could actually focus on just being an operator and stop trying to do everything else. And then when I left that, came back to Sydney, I ended up transitioning over to a head of operations role in a virtual assistant company where I freed the business owner, right, to be able to start up a second business right there. And after being made redundant there, I kind of went through this huge shift in my life, and I'm like, what do I do now? And that's how I kind of stumbled into Pokemon investing, right? Because I'm like, oh, maybe I can set up a Pokemon shop and all of that too. And then that's how I kind of dived into that. And from there, I ended up landing a role where I'm doing now consulting, right, for business owners and really helping identify the issues that they're encountering here. And it's kind of like what I get to do now, which is kind of like serve as a therapist almost for business owners, like where I just talk to them, understand why they started their business, understand why they're stuck now, and trying to help them figure out what is it that they need to go do to unstuck themselves, and most of all, unbottleneck themselves from their own business. And so that's what I wanted to share here. I was challenged by Gary Vee to share something like this with you guys, and I just couldn't stop sleeping or thinking about this, right? It's just in my head, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And so, if you're interested in me helping you out and getting you untangled from your own web of your own business, hit up my Stand store, right? It's in the bio there. Grab the time for me with you, to chat with you, to unlock it, to be your business therapist for a moment here, to free you up from what you really want to create, which is a business, not a job for yourself.